This example is going to step us through program 5-19. It was my intention that we would go through maybe several programs, but my computer is giving me fits. So we're going to take a look at this one and see what else I might have time to run for you to do both. So most of the time you will use just fstream. This also is going to demonstrate writing output to a file, and when you use output file.open like this, there is no error trapping in place at all. So if this file already exists, it's going to overwrite it and erase what's there. If you want to create the name of the file for yourself, you can add sales to, or you can edit the program however you like, so that the output file is going to be named whatever you put here inside the quotes. So this line does two things. It opens the file, gets it ready for being written to, and then it also will erase anything that already exists. And it uses the data that we entered earlier, the number of days that we have sales data for, and then you use the cin command in order to input those sales, but then you output file to you use output file, which is your OFStream object that was created up here, and you use the output file just like you were going to see out to the screen, basically, but you're going to see out to a file. And then you have to close the file. So the steps that you have to do for creating with the file, #include fstream. This one's only going to use OFStream for output file. You open it, you process the file, and then you close the file, as an example. Now I already started it running, so we could maybe speed up this process. So if I say I want to enter data for 3 days, and then I enter the sales data, and I'm just making up some numbers, and it writes to the file, and we didn't see it, but it said data written to sales.txt. The other thing that we're not sure about then is where is that file stored? And so that file, because this is all local, it stores it inside the project folder. If I go over here to resource files and I right click and I add a new item, it is going to, I'm going to be able to, actually that's not what I wanted to do, but this is actually a way for you to create your own data file for inputting and outputting if you need to. And remember that that data file would be a text file, and you find it under utility. So if I were creating a brand new data file, this is not the one that I was just created with the program, but let's say I have my rainfall data or something as an example. I can end it with a .dat, or I can leave no ending on it. It's going to save it as a .txt, which is fine. You could change that to a .dat if you want. Whatever, that would have to be done manually inside your folder level. Whatever that .txt or .dat, whatever that extension is, you do have to include that extension here in the source file. Okay, so we're using a .txt, so you would have to use txt in your program. If the data files come in as a .dat, you just change this to dat right here, and that would allow you to work with that. So this is the rainfall data. If I were to create, rainfall data, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4.5 inches, 0.5 inches, 1.5 inches, this is how you can create your own data file, okay? But let's go back and see if we can actually find where sales.txt was located, and that would be under resources, and I want to add an existing item because that file was supposed to have already been created. That's what this line did right here when it did output file.open. I should be able to find that sales.txt file inside my folder levels here. And this is where my computer's running slow, so it might take a moment to load that up. So this particular program is outputting to a file. We are going to take a look at some programs that will input and some programs that will do both. Okay. In the Explorer window, I can click on sales.txt created, and if I add it to my resources files, which is where you want to add your text files when you're working with Visual Studio, and then if I open up sales.txt, I should be able to see the data that I entered, and that's the correct data, and so that particular program ran correctly.